Hello everyone, this is Faith and Books. How are you doing? This is kind of my first day of my summer vacation. I don't have to watch the 5 and 3-year-old grandsons anymore. And I mean, yeah, for a while I won't have to watch them. I mean, I guess occasionally I'll sit for them. But my daughter is a school teacher, and so she has the summer off. But she's also expecting a new baby in August. So she is going to be taking off that first semester next year. And so, so I probably won't have to be a regular nanny till January or maybe at the very end of December. And I'll be caring for the new baby. And then the 3-year-old will be in preschool 5 days a week. And I'll watch him in the afternoons. And then the 5-year-old will be going to kindergarten at the school near him. So yeah, so those are my plans. So right now I'm not watching any kids, except of course I am watching the 9-year-old grandson who lives with us, but he is in a sports camp this week. We're crossing our fingers that that he stays in, because he hurt his knee a couple days ago. And we couldn't tell what was wrong, really. I don't know. I thought maybe he just pulled a muscle, but he's very melodramatic about any sort of injury. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, he's supposed to be in the sports camp. We set it up a long time ago so he could be there with his best friend. His best friend's also going to the sports camp. So anyway, so I just went and got my left eye checked, and it's all good. And on the way home, like literally on the way home from the doctor's, there is this fairly new bakery and coffee shop. It's all gluten-free. So I got the coffee, the latte. I hardly ever get coffee out, but I did this time. And I already ate one of the pastries. They're tiny, little apricot nut roll. And I'm saving the other one, which is a brown butter oatmeal cookie for later. So anyway, so yeah, so it's kind of a celebratory day. It's very kind of chilly and rainy. It's been raining for forever. So kind of a weird spring. I feel like everything's just rotting in my garden. But I want to talk about books. So let's see, what was I going to do first? First, I'll talk about current reads. In another video, I'm going to do the 10 most influential books. I'm going to do that this week. But right now, I'm just going to, because I just realized it's, this June is halfway through the year. So I sort of wanted to look back. Oh yeah, I left my list over there. I want to look back at the year and then look forward to my summer plans. So first of all, what I'm currently reading right now, oh boy, I opened up my Kindle and then, oh, there we go. Yeah, so what I'm currently reading right now, well, to the 9-year-old, I am still reading Farmer Boy, and we're that far. I just read it in very, very short bits when we get a chance, but hopefully we'll get through this this summer, hopefully the first half of the summer. And then I'm still working on an essay on the development of Christian doctrine. I'm reading this actually on my Kindle, and I've gotten to the part that I had originally scheduled for the Theology book club. We were going to read part 1 of the book and then the first chapter in part 2, which is chapter 5. And I'm in chapter 5. So I think I'm on schedule to finish that part. Now, I wanted to read the whole thing, but it's a really dense reading, and I don't know if I'm going to force myself. So I'm just going to read the part that I originally said. That's going to be my goal. So that is going well. Now, everybody in the Theology book club dropped out except for Carol. Thank you, Carol. She's still working on it, but she sort of reports intermittently. Anyway, yeah, so that's one thing that I've been working through. I started that, when did I start that? In the April. April, yeah, it's been a while. And then let's see, what else am I reading right now? I just started listening to this on audio, The Return of the King, which is exciting. So this is my Inklings, the journey with the Inklings. I think I forgot to talk about that in another video. But anyway, so I am listening to this. I hope to get through it. I might not get through it in June, but I hope to get through it by the end of before I have to leave for Alaska. In July 19th, we are leaving for Alaska, and we're going to be gone until August 4th. So I want to get this read beforehand, but this, before that, but this is my contribution to the Journey with the Inklings, and I hope to also watch the movie as well. So I'm starting that and doing the essay of Christian development. For the summer of sport, I had forgotten about the summer of sport until I tuned into a live that Mark at Book Time with Elvis was doing, and he mentioned it. And so I started, so that made me go and start my book that I had planned earlier and then completely forgotten about. So I'm reading Arthur Ashe's book, Days of Grace, which is much heavier than I thought it would be, because it's really about, apparently he wrote other memoirs, maybe something before. This picks up when he's got AIDS, when he has to make the announcement, and it's pretty deep, and he had a lot to him. So so I'm reading Arthur Ashe's book, Days of Grace, right now, and I am only 17% in. So so that's my Kindle read. What else was I going to say? So I'm reading that for Summer of Sport. I feel like I'm missing something. I'm doing the Journey with the Inklings. Oh, now I realize. Okay, I just finished reading The Oxbow Incident. Let me get you the cover here. Whoops, nope, that's not right. Let's go to the cover. And it was a really interesting book. It also was heavier or harder. It has a lot to it as well. It's thought-provoking and doesn't really give you the answer. It's just deep questions about justice and it's very complex. People wrestling with guilt, and it's quite thought-provoking, I thought. And so I read this for June on the Range because it's a classic of Western literature. It was published in 1940. It's set in 1885 Nevada. And so it's also counting as a state read, because I've been slowly doing the Read the 50 States. So this is going to count for Nevada. I thought it was quite well written. It's, as I said, it's much darker than I thought it would be. Very thought-provoking. And then I watched the movie with Henry Fonda, and that was very interesting too. They changed it. They changed the character to make Henry Fonda more of a star. I think they kind of missed one thing because they really changed the ending. What I thought was interesting was that the guy, the narrator, it's really told from this one guy's point of view, Art Croft, and he is so worried about people thinking that he's a wimp or that he's weak, because he's got that macho cowboy, that it interferes with his ability to do what he thinks is right. And when he's looking back, he sees that. And so he didn't have the moral courage to really step up. So he kind of is neutral, but he kind of is, but it's because he's being neutral and standing back because he's afraid. And they really took that out of the movie. So I thought that was a very valuable thing in the book that the movie does not deliver on. In fact, it changes it outright. But the movie was still a good movie. It still was thought-provoking, and Henry Fonda was, so far above every other actor in the movie. I thought, like, he really shone. So, So the Oxbow Incident, that was my June on the Range. This is my Tolkien, my Inkling contribution for June. Journey with the Inklings. And then I'm just doing this with my grandson. But big news is that, for me anyway, is that I have decided to DNF The Life of Samuel Johnson. I was so looking forward to reading this. I've been wanting to reread it for ages and ages. I can't read it in this because I'm still having trouble with my eyes. I still have to get my other eye operated on. But so I was reading it on my Kindle. But in January, I thought I was going to England this summer instead of Alaska. And I was so excited because I thought I was going to see Samuel Johnson's house where he wrote his dictionary. And that really made me want to read it in 2025. And then I thought that I was going to read it with Sean Standfast. And poor Sean has been having terrible health problems. He just got back from the hospital, and he told me he just couldn't do it. So I thought, okay, I'll just, I'll soldier on myself and I'll just read it. And I was enjoying it, but I kept having to force myself to pick it up. And then I heard about Sue Jackson's Big Book Summer, which somehow that's eluded me. I subscribe to her channel now. But she has this thing, Big Book Summer, where she tries to conquer big books in the summertime. And I thought, okay, I'll do that. This will be my big book. But once I gave myself permission, because I thought I was going to finish it at the end of June. Once I gave myself permission to extend it all through the summer, I just didn't pick it up again. A week went by and I realized I'd never picked up the book. So that made me think, I'm forcing myself here. It just isn't the right time. It turned out not to be the right time to reread this. The other thing is, the whole time I was rereading it, I was thinking, this is by James Boswell about his friend, Samuel Johnson. Why haven't I ever read real Samuel Johnson? I've been meaning to for years. And it just made me frustrated with myself. Like, instead of picking this up and rereading it, I should have read some actual Samuel Johnson. I remember Christy Lewis read some of his essays from The Rambler. And at the time I thought, I want to do that too, but I was too overwhelmed with other things. So I think before I actually get back to this, because maybe this is a soft DNF and I'll continue it, but it's just not right for this summer. But I want to read some actual Samuel Johnson before I do that, so I won't feel so frustrated. So anyway, this is going on the shelf for now, and that's kind of a sad thing. But I still want to participate in Big Book Summer, and I've sort of been going along with the David McCollough read-along. Not, I'm not reading every book, but I'm reading books that I haven't read before or that time allows me to read. And I bought this recently at a used bookstore, this doorstop here, Truman. And to tell you the truth, I'm more excited to read about Truman than I am Samuel Johnson right now. And so I think this will be my Big Book Summer entry for that challenge. And I'm probably going to give myself through September to read it. I'm not sure what the David McCollough read-along is. Maybe they're reading I'm trying to remember what Linda said. Maybe they're reading it June and July. And I might start after I finish my Arthur Ashe memoir. And I'm just going to read it at my own pace. But hopefully I'll get it done in the summertime. So this is my Big Book Summer contribution. So, all right. And then, I'm so discombobulated, and I had all these things I wanted to mention. And then a couple of other books that I wanted to read this summer. Well, this is for the trip to Alaska. I'm thinking of taking an Agatha Christie with me. And this is the next one. This is the 7th one in the collection that I have of these editions of all the Miss Marple. So I'm going to take the 450 from Paddington, and that'll be something I'll read. And then I'm also going to read the book James by, I think it's Everett Percival or Percival Everett. Wait, I forget. Because my sister recommended that to me a long time ago, and I thought that just sounds like a really good summer read to me. So it's I think it won an award or something. It's been very popular. It's the retelling of Huckleberry Finn, but from the point of view of Jim or James, the title character. Let me see where it is. I know I already downloaded it on my Kindle, but it's not coming up here. Anyway, that's what I'm hoping to also read while I'm in Alaska. So the first week in Alaska, we're going on a cruise. And then the second week, we're traveling inland. So, and my husband really wants to go to the Arctic Circle. So we're going to fly up to the Arctic Circle. We're going to go to Denali. And and then we're going to have to fly back. It's going to be terrible flying back. The last couple of days just trying to get home again. And then I'm assuming with the time change, I'm terrible with jet lag. And so I know I'm just going to be out of commission the next couple of days. So, and I'm not planning to do anything by way of videos for this channel. I'm just gonna try to relax and have a good time. I wish I could find James. I know I downloaded it, but it was a while ago, so it's not showing up in the more immediate books on my Kindle. Another book that I started reading is called Light from Darkness. And this is by the Catholic historian, and I've been taking his church history course in through my church. And he actually came and spoke at the church. So he's pretty good guy. Now he's really like, there's a definite bias there. Sometimes I'm like, when he's talking about the Crusades, I don't know. But anyway, he wrote this book called Light from Darkness. And here it is. It says, 9 times the Catholic Church was in turmoil and came out stronger than before. So he goes through 9 crises that occurred in the history of the Catholic Church and how it was resolved and how the church came out, stronger and more, defined in its beliefs and that sort of thing. So it's very interesting, but I'm just sort of nibbling at that. So yeah, that's sort of an ongoing read too. And then sometime this summer, I want to read The Big Six by Arthur Ransom so I can continue reading the Swallows and Amazons series. There are 12 in the series, and I always forget what number I'm on. I have to look it up. But these are wonderful stories about, look, this is somebody's book plate that they put about this used from thrift books. Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 9. This is number 9. The Big Six by Arthur Ransom. So I'm hoping to get to this also this summer. And I wanted to participate in Tiffany at Beautiful Minutia's bingo summer. What does she call it? She makes a bingo card, and she's got all these little prompts in there that are related to summer. And I couldn't do the whole thing. That would be crazy for me. But I could do like a vertical line and a horizontal line because some of these things will fit in. What I'm already reading will fit in. And then I think I could just maybe try for a couple others. Like I think one said yellow on the cover. Something this is part of a series. That might have been another. So yeah, I am going to try to. I have to go and look and see which columns I thought that I could possibly accomplish during the summer. So the other thing that I wanted to do is show you a little bit of a book haul that I had. So a couple weeks ago, I went to visit my youngest daughter, and they live just a few minutes outside of Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. So Valley Forge is this big, beautiful park, and they have these cabins. I don't know if they're reproductions. They probably are. Reproductions of, where Washington's troops stayed. And there's a big visitor center. You can see a movie, and which we did. And you can see the farmhouse that George Washington took over as his headquarters. So it was very interesting. In the gift shop, they had lots of books. And I saw the Benjamin Rush book that Talia Nerds Out talked about several months ago that she raved about. And I almost got that. But then I feel so like I'm already DNFing The Great Bridge by David McCollough, and I'm DNFing this one. I'm like having so much trouble with big, thick reads. I thought, oh no, I'm not going to buy another one. And I just bought this. And I was like, I don't deserve another big, thick biography. So I mostly bought books for the grandkids. But I did see this. This is Phyllis Wheatley, Complete Writings. Not that she has anything to do with Valley Forge, but the books were all about colonial history. And I've always been fascinated by her. I think my mother had a slim hardback volume of her poetry. And I remember pulling it out and reading or trying to decipher it as a kid. And then I bump into her on and off through my life. I've bumped into her poetry. And I've always been very impressed by her. And this one not only has, well, it says complete writings, not only has her poetry, but a lot of letters. So I'm kind of fascinated by her. So so I got this. I don't know when I'm going to read it, but I'm interested in learning about Phyllis Wheatley. Yeah. And then the other thing was not for me. Here, let me take a sip of my coffee before it gets too cold. But I bought this for my husband for Father's Day. It was mostly because I really didn't get him very much for Christmas and I felt really guilty. And I saw this on Luminous Libro's channel where she was talking about Journey with the Inklings. And I've been listening to Lord of the Rings and I'm just amazed at how much my husband remembers from the books. Like he remembers their names and just these intricate details that I just have not picked up on. And I thought maybe he would enjoy these beautiful books. Now, he doesn't really buy books anymore. He insists he only wants the Kindle because of his eyes. But I said to him, you just need your glasses and a magnifying glass. But these are just works of art. So they're by this guy, David Day. And he wrote all these volumes. So it's a dictionary of Tolkien. Then the next one is an atlas of Tolkien. And it's just, look at this. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's just everything. This one sounds really interesting to me. And the dictionary, that helps me because I get lost in all the names and words. The Battles of Tolkien, that looks incredible. Like I don't even know what these diagrams are. But it's just so incredibly detailed. They're just gorgeous books. So I think this will be fun to explore. And I just felt like it was almost like an heirloom. Like, you know, when we pass away, one of our kids can get this. The Heroes of Tolkien. Just show you. Let's go through them all. The next one is The Dark Powers of Tolkien. Wow. Look at this art. Let's see. The next one, The Hobbits of Tolkien. Oh, there's Gollum. There you go. Anyway, I just think they're delightful and they look fascinating. They look wonderful. And the Ring Legends of Tolkien. So just gorgeous, gorgeous books. Fun to, you know, peruse. I just thought it was a beautiful thing. So I gave it to him for Father's Day. And I said, I have a gift for you. And he said, why? I'm not your father. Because we don't usually exchange anything for Father's Day. But I was like, I have to make up for my very poor showing at Christmas time. So anyway, so those are some hauls. The only other thing that I can remember that I wanted to do this summer is in August, I'm hoping to do a buddy read with my one of my sisters. And it turns out that she had started to read, oh boy, what's the name of the book? It's by Patrick Lee Fermor, and it's his memoir. This is right before World War II breaks out, of walking from, I think it was Amsterdam to Constantinople. He goes on this long, very long hike, stopping all along the way. And it's called A Time of Gifts, I think, A Time of Gifts. And it was absolutely gorgeous writing, very erudite, very poetic, but absolutely stunningly beautiful writing. And she had tried to read it, and I think she either DNF'd it or she just felt like she didn't get very much out of it and felt frustrated. So we decided we were going to read it together. So I'm hoping to reread that book in August with one of my sisters. So, all right, I've talked long enough. So I think I didn't really go over how much I've read this year. I think I've completed 28 books, and some of them were slow reads. And I've DNF'd a couple, like The Life of Samuel Johnson and The Great Bridge. And I think I've probably DNF'd a couple of other books at least. But anyway, so that's what I've got so far, and I better stop talking right now. So I will talk to you later, and happy reading. Bye. Okay, I forgot a book. So here we go. This is Eberhard Arnold Selected Writings. I'm not sure if this was the exact one that I first mentioned for the Theology Book Club, but we are starting our third quarter, which will be July, August, and September. And the book that, or at least the person we're focusing on, is Eberhard Arnold. And this was the easiest one to access. I think there's a lot of overlap. There's just collections of his writings, and maybe we'll just find articles or essays he's written and read those together. But anyway, this is interesting. This guy started, let's see, it says Eberhard Arnold, 1883 to 1935, was one of the most remarkable Christian figures in the 20th century. In the years after World War I, he abandoned his career ambitions to live by the radical teachings of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. With his family and a small circle of friends, he founded the Bruderhof, an international pacifist community rooted in the Anabaptist tradition, which soon brought him into conflict with the Nazi state. So anyway, if you've ever heard of the Plow magazine, they're published by the Bruderhof. So yeah, and when he came to America, or when the group moved to America, this particular following, they have an affinity with the Hutterites. And somebody in the Theology Book Club linked to a channel, I'll try to link it below, where a young woman in a Hutterite community up in Canada has a YouTube channel. It's really interesting. So so this is what we're reading in the Theology Book Club for next quarter, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be much easier to read than Newman, who's really stodgy and hard to get through. So yeah, but brilliant. He was brilliant, but this is going to be much easier. Anyway, all right, now I really am ending. Bye.